Hi, Ophiuchus. If you want to come on in for some symbolic support, have a seat. Here's your ink blot, your scroll made in your name and essence. If you want to take a screenshot, so you can scry on your own time and terms. For any shapes or symbols that speak to your psyche and psychic senses. Opies, thank you as always for holding space for me to share my insights, and I'm going to dig in here to explore your aura. Let's go. I'm seeing a very ornate flame. I'm seeing a very ornate flame, Opies, and two snakes intertwined like a snowman. It's like I can see them moving, and these snakes are creating another form together. Now I'm seeing them put their hands on their hips. I put my hands up on your hip. When I dip, you dip, we dip. Something like that line. I don't know if there's like a leading. You put your hands up on your hip. When I dip, you dip, we dip. Yes, there's a leading. When I dip, you dip, we dip. When I dip, you dip, we dip. Something about that terminology. I, you, we. I, you, we. Opies. I'm also seeing a cake topper. So there might be some sort of commitment in the auric energy of the Opies. And if you land in this land and resonate, please take what does, leave the rest. I'm seeing like one of those cake toppers that's like a Barbie doll, or yeah, I think so. It feels vintage, and I can see like the dress coming out. There really might be a commitment somewhere in the Ophiuchus, the Ophiuchian energy here. Whether you can relate personally to professional, companionship, this, that, or the other, but something's being celebrated. Like, let there be cake. Opies, let there be cake. I do feel like as well, sorry, my foot is falling asleep. There could be a celebration in regards to the part, like, oh my goodness, I'm stumbling. Oh, my heart's racing. Okay, in regards to some sort of healing that's happening. Now, I don't know if this is the Ophiuchian sending it out or cultivating and actually receiving the healing of one's own creation. Does that make sense? If I put the I, if I dip, you dip, we dip, just from that song, if I put the I and the you and the we, it's like when your head and your heart come together, and then we're moving in sync, the higher self, the human, the haunted aspects, the healing aspects, to the hilarious aspects. But I feel like you share this. Like when I'm seeing that vintage Barbie doll cake topper thing, like the Barbie doll's this big, but then there's one layer of the dress, and then there's another layer of the dress. And then there's parts of it hidden in the cake, so it stabilizes. So there's parts hidden, but there's value there. There's a reason for that. And this expression is broad. Opies, this feels like you might be receiving your own healing that you give out all the time. And I don't necessarily mean healing in this cheesy way. This feels like a wisdom of being an Ophiuchian. There's something multidimensional matrixy about it, because I'm seeing a mushroom, but it's like this little cobbler treehouse type thing, or like a fairy house. So it's small in nature, but yet it's the top of the cake. Let there be cake. Let them eat cake. And there's still work to be done even when the highest peaks have been reached. There's some sort of weight on the shoulders. Is it a weight? Give me a moment here, Opies, if you don't mind. Oh, and I just got really, 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 really cold. Okay, so like in the whole two snakes things that are making a snowman, so I don't really know what the snowman symbolizes. So maybe that stands out to you. Maybe that's something you want to wander, or you can understand, like maybe it's an emotional state, or it's simply utilizing the current season to still create something. The winter is not desert. There's still another element to play with, or a change, a shift of elements that has shifted forms. Okay, so I'm coming back up to the shoulder thing. I'm not sure if it's weight, but I feel for some there might be a weight on the shoulders that's felt. For others, I'm seeing this as that, like the two snake thing. Conscience, I don't know. Like little voices whispering in your ears. I don't know if this is internal talk or, excuse me, external influences trying to influence you. We're here for the Opie energies. I'm going to start adding on some tarot and oracle Opies. Like, share, subscribe. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for being my muse. And links are below to help a gal grow if you want your own Rorschach in a reading, to wander your aura, all that kind of good stuff. Okay. It's like a little commercial I have to like consciously put in. Otherwise, I completely forget. Flowers. Totally being fickle. But that's not the point. So this makes me feel like I'm back into the celebration. The cake. There's a celebration. Some sort of commitment, OPs. Thank you. I will take it. Fickle and cautionary has come through, which is interesting. This makes me feel like it's the whole birdies in the ear thing. It's like, is somebody telling you to be cautious, or of your own self, of your own thinking, of your own overthinking, OPs. Like caution, am I cautious or do I celebrate this? Or everyone's like, why aren't you celebrating? And you're like, because I don't know if it's going to stick, right? Hidden part of the cake topper in the cake. It's like there's something about the foundation being like the snowman, being bigger, broader. It kind of covers more land so you can stack things on top of it. And it's stabilizing. Or it's stable. Maybe stabilizing being in the process of it. Obies, thank you so much for bearing with me through this story of sorts. Seekers come through. On the bottom is clarity. I feel like that's what I'm seeking. There is a particular fickleness in this, but that's okay. But the wisdom, that's what we were talking about. You're just making sure that you're being wise if there's a cautious air about you. As you're seeking celebration and things to commit to. Interesting. So I want to commit to different things. Maybe it's a new job. Maybe it's a new partner, companionship. Maybe just a creative endeavor. Maybe it's seeking others to help you, help me, help you, help me. But I'm seeing like somebody might be worried that you're being led by rose petals and it's alluring. And you're trying to be cautious because you're like, Okay, so in this oracle card, I was just drawn in, and I apologize for the blank space, but I appreciate it. I was drawn in between the fires and the pillars of this card. I saw this, your ink blot, as like an oracle that manifested right in between the pillars. And it's like it's a she, so maybe it's a spirit guide or your female aspect, your female energy came out and just kind of it showed itself. It didn't take me back. I was just like, oh, gratitude for the Opis for showing me the oracle of your aura, of your energy. That's beautiful. It's so, so beautiful. So I don't know if there's a part in your own meditation of oneself is like remembering that oracle space of your state of oneness is specifically the word I just heard. Even though you might be many parts of a snowman, many snakes creating different DNA, healing, offering this fairy, multi-dimensional matrix, little fairy house thing, that there is two beings on top, so there is a commitment of some sort or a celebration, but they could also be aspects of yourself. But even if it's outside of you in any channel, that's an aspect of oneself externally. Okay. Opis, you are the oracle of your own oneness. So as I'm seeing these, snowmen being built, these snakes taking different forms and moving around, they're fluid. They're moving through water. Where am I going? Oh. Shit, that was crazy. I'm seeing this having a conversation with yourself. Maybe you're like driving in the car, just talking, or maybe you're singing a song. Maybe you're in the shower. Maybe you're in a traditional meditative state. Maybe you're at work and it just comes in. You're like, oh, yes. And then it quiets these chirping birds. The two of airships came through as well. See if that'll come through. Okay, yeah, it did come through. Wonderful. So the space between, say, if this is you and another person, you and a job, this, that, or the other, right? Any channel that you choose. But just like these two different airships, one being more fire, one being more water, being more water, they share the space of air. And it brings me into your oracle understanding of your pillars. That is fire with water, but the space in between where your ink blot came through as an oracle is air. Something about thin air. I wonder if you're trying to create something out of thin air. Something has happened and just like out of thin air. I don't know. Ace of Leviathans. And then we have a whole hoopla over here, which I'll get to in a second. So there might be some Opis that are seeking out new land, maybe to build a foundation on your snowman. For roots, to celebrate. We bought this new house, or we're moving. I got this new job, this, that, or the other. To very spiritual in your oracle state. You're cautious. You're being wise. Clarity. Crystals right behind it. 10 of engines, 7 of submersibles, and the brazen head. Okay, give me 2 shakes here, Opis. Let me take it in like a vision board. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Okay. Remember when I was talking about like fire and water, and they share the space of the air in which your thoughts and your oracle, etc., etc. 7 of submersibles. There's a navigating. There's new lands in both spaces, in emotional, in the water, and on land. Somebody might really be looking to change things up. They both point, if I may, to your state of oneness. For this season, I don't know if that makes sense. Whatever your headlights are pointing at. Somebody's leaving something, and maybe this is what's to be celebrated in this commitment to oneself and your commitment to your healing, this, that, or the other. Some sort of burdens. It's almost like there's this feeling of, I have helped as much as I can. I have done what I can. I'm going to admit that. I'm going to remain wise and cautious as I'm seeking maybe new channels to explore, to grow. Because this 10 of Engines is making me feel like I've done enough. I've done what I can. And as though there might be other people, places, or things that want you to stay because you might be an integral part of this, or maybe you're retiring. Maybe you're just changing jobs or moving, and your neighbors, something along that lines. And you're like, but I need to grow or be inspired by new, not that they're new. It's not about finding the next new thing. This feels like a growth thing. Excuse me. And you were open to receive that. Blinded, but not blind, because of this oracle feeling. She is blindfolded, but open to receive. And I am standing, as I take the stance of this, in a moment, I'm putting myself in the Ophiuchian energy, and I'm standing here. And I have outgrown something, or I'm willing to pursue an unknown for a different experience that will add not only to my collective Ophiuchian auric and energy, but also for myself, which I in turn then share to those that I'm interacting with. So I'm placing myself in here in this brazen head, being open to receive. And when I do that, I go into the oracle space. I am between the pillars of the fire of protection and cleansing, to the creation of the snowman, to the snakes, to DNA, etc., etc. I'm going to flip that. And I stand there to receive. And even though I'm blindfolded, because I'm breathing. So maybe I am in a meditative state in one way, shape, or form. Maybe I'm even sleeping in the Ophiuchian energy. I'm not sure if I'm in the subcon realm. And I am blinded purposefully to be here, to feel my oracle state of oneness. And I feel trust when I'm here. I feel relaxed. I'm floating, almost like I'm levitating. There's something else, but Opis, I admit, I feel like it's not for me, even though I'm a visitor here, observing. But it does have that observing feel. So maybe that's the connection why it's bringing me in. As I'm sitting here, as an Ophiuchian guest, observing, willing to grow this, that, or the other, I'm observing. And I coming in as STEPH, like the one observer, the God, the greater observational deity, the greater observational, device, whatever it may be. It's your state of oneness that's like levitating in. Okay. I apologize if I rambled on there. Hopefully it made sense to somebody. Please disregard if you're not feeling it. Even as I flipped it to win it, I'm seeing, so now I'm in the male aspect, is how I'm feeling it anyway. There's a lot of protection around the buff. Is that, yeah, buff? Are those things called buffs? I can't remember. It's not the point. And there's a drill. It's not a standard drill. It's one of those drills with the spiral. Like I'm digging in, moving earth. I'm moving earth. As if I was going to like plant like a really big tree, but this drill bit thingy has a spiral on it. Almost like a crazy straw. This definitely feels more male in aspect, where the other, when I was in the oracle space, the state of oneness, I felt more female, simply archetypal energy. Or perhaps Ophies, you're fully on board. You're like, yeah, I get it. I know exactly what I'm doing. I know exactly which energy, which alchemy, and it's a mix. It's a degree. They're always together. Two snakes. They're always together. The polarities, the partners, they're always working together. But there's one usually leading. Woo. The mirror. That was the card that wanted to come out. Okay. Let's one more. Okay, we're here for the OP energies. Are we adding anything else on to their auric energy? Thank you so much for being here as well. Oh my goodness. Thank you. So we have the riddle, Gnosis, Thanatos. Oh, there's a card up here. And the mother. Okay. Once again, give me 2 shakes here. Let me see what I got going on. There's some sort of mudra with the hands, or maybe do something with the hands, Ophies. Maybe you're like a doctor, a surgeon, a healer, an artist, I don't know, carpenter. Maybe you're a farmer and you move dirt. I don't know. Something about the hands. There might be a mudra that can help you come into your oracle when need be, like on the fly. As you're seeking, doing X marks the spot, X marks the spot. There could be some sort of riddle that it feels like, and it kind of brings me back to the beginning. My goodness, I feel... Okay. It brings me back to the beginning when I'm like, do I celebrate or am I cautious? Do I stay or should I go? When I dip, you dip, we dip. There's a coupling about this. And a coupling, like a pairing up. Okay, so that's helpful. And I just heard for my own self, when I'm saying the male and female aspects or energies, the emotional body, the earthly body, this, that, or the other, these polarities seemingly are of 2. And I actually triggered my own self. So it's your wisdom that did that. So thank you. The male and female, the this or the that, the celebrate, the cautionary. What I just realized is the riddle is that the polarities are not just a pairing. They are one aspect of the pearl of the center that come together. When I dip, you dip, we dip. And it becomes 3. Does that make sense? When I is the male or I is the female, emotions, this, that, or the other, commitment or celebrate or caution. When I dip, you dip, being the other one or the opposite polarity one, then we dip. And that is the riddle solved, at least how it's feeling for me. If I am in any way eloquently expressing this, and I apologize, sorry, not sorry, if it's cryptic in nature, there's purpose in that, there's value in that, and there's a reason for that, but it gets solved in this gnosis state. Ophies. I absolutely adore your energy, and it's always an adventure when I wander in. So thank you so much for being my muse, as always, and for holding space for me to share my insights. All the links are below to help a gal grow, and until next time, I hope this serves and supports, and if not, at least entertainingly. Thanks for coming along the journey. Thanks.